Hello and welcome to Wisdom Forge. Understanding learned helplessness and the impact of stress on learning. Introduction to learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is a condition in which individuals, after repeated experiences of failure or uncontrollable adversity, start to believe that they have no power to change their situation. In simple terms, when someone feels that nothing they do will alter the outcome, they eventually stop trying altogether. This state of mind can affect many areas of life, from personal relationships to work and educational performance. The concept explains how continuous negative experiences can lead to a downward spiral of passivity and resignation. Once a person or animal internalizes the belief that they are unable to influence their environment, even when opportunities to make changes arise, they remain stuck in a pattern of inaction. This idea, originally uncovered through experimental research, provides important insights into the psychological impact of extended stress and failure. The experiment demonstrating learned helplessness. In early experiments designed to understand behavior under stress, subjects were put in a situation where they experienced an unpleasant stimulus that they could not avoid. Initially, these subjects showed natural reactions such as struggling or attempting to escape. Over time, however, they began to act as if they had lost all hope. Even when later presented with a clear escape route or the possibility to end the painful experience, many remained inactive. The surprising outcome was that the subjects had learned to surrender, convinced by their past experiences that any effort to change their condition would be fruitless. These experiments demonstrated how exposure to harsh and uncontrollable conditions could lead to a debilitating sense of powerlessness, an insight that has proven useful in understanding human behavior in real-life stressful circumstances. Psychological mechanisms behind helplessness. The shift toward a helpless mindset involves both emotional and cognitive changes. When a person consistently encounters situations where they have no control, their mind begins to associate any similar difficulty with the inevitability of failure. This learned response alters not only behavior but also how future challenges are viewed. The individual might approach new problems with a defeatist attitude, assuming that nothing will work regardless of the effort applied. This change in mental outlook reinforces their inability to escape adverse situations and deepens the bond between prolonged stress and negative thinking. By understanding these internal processes, we can see that it is not merely the external events but also the mind's interpretation that leads to a lack of initiative, ultimately affecting one's overall performance and emotional well-being. The effects of learned helplessness on daily life. The impact of a helpless attitude extends far beyond moments of acute stress. It can transform everyday behavior and limit a person's potential. Individuals suffering from learned helplessness often experience a drop in self-confidence and may not attempt to solve problems that arise, fearing further failure. This pervasive sense of defeat influences decisions in education, work, and personal relationships, leaving them less likely to take risks or try new approaches even when the circumstances have improved. The condition can cause a persistent feeling of being trapped, or even simple tasks become overwhelming. Recognizing this behavior is crucial because it highlights the need for interventions that can help individuals regain a feeling of control, which in turn can open the door to better problem-solving skills, improve mental health, and a more hopeful outlook on life. Understanding the nature of stress. Stress is an automatic response of the body when faced with a challenge, threat, or significant change. It comes in many forms, from brief moments of nervous excitement to long-lasting pressures that affect the mind and body. When we encounter stress, our body prepares for a rapid response by triggering what many refer to as the fight or flight mechanism. While a small burst of stress can help us react quickly in dangerous situations, prolonged exposure to stress can disrupt normal bodily functions and affect how we think and learn. By recognizing what stress is and the way it manifests, we can begin to understand why some stress is even necessary for survival, yet too much of it can ultimately be harmful, undermining our physical and mental health alike. How our body reacts to stress. When confronted by a stressful situation, our body goes through a rapid series of changes designed to help us deal with immediate danger. One of the most well-known responses is the release of hormones that prepare the body to either fight the threat or flee from it. These hormones, such as adrenaline and another hormone that plays a similar role, surge through the body, increasing heart rate, heightening senses, and mobilizing energy. This short-term reaction is very beneficial when facing real physical danger. However, if our body remains in this heightened state for too long, due to ongoing stress from everyday challenges, it can lead to a breakdown in normal physical functions. Over time, continuous high levels of these stress hormones can affect the heart, decrease immune efficiency, and even impair cognitive functions, making it difficult to learn new things or solve problems. Impact of stress on learning and memory. Stress exerts a significant influence on how we think and learn. In small doses, the physical and mental stimulation provided by stress can help us to focus, improve memory retention, and perform better in challenging situations. However, when stress becomes a constant presence in one's life, it can have adverse effects. Prolonged stress leads to an accumulation of stress hormones that not only affect concentration but also cause structural changes in the brain. These changes can particularly affect the areas responsible for storing memories and managing new information. As a result, chronic stress makes it more difficult to recall details, process new information, or solve problems effectively. Understanding this relationship between stress and cognitive performance is essential, as it emphasizes the importance of managing stress levels to protect brain health and maintain the ability to learn throughout life. Stress in educational and work settings. In environments such as schools and workplaces, stress plays a critical and often double-edged role. A moderate level of stress might provide the motivation needed for individuals to meet deadlines or excel in academics. It can energize students to study harder or push employees to be more productive. However, when stress becomes excessive, it can overwhelm individuals, leading to anxiety, burnout, and diminished performance. Students may feel so pressured by academic expectations that they lose their natural curiosity and confidence, while workers might feel unable to meet the perpetual demands of their job. The result is often a decline in overall well-being, which directly affects their ability to learn, adapt, and innovate. Recognizing the fine line between productive stress and debilitating pressure is key to fostering healthy and sustainable learning environments. Methods to overcome helplessness and manage stress. Overcoming learned helplessness and learning to manage stress effectively involves both mental shifts and practical strategies. It starts with the realization that one's past experiences do not have to dictate future responses. By adopting methods such as cognitive behavioral approaches, individuals can reframe negative beliefs and develop more adaptive thought patterns. This process may include setting small, achievable goals, cultivating supportive relationships, and engaging in regular physical activity. Relaxation techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, and meditation can be invaluable tools for reducing stress levels. Additionally, creating structured and predictable routines can help restore a sense of control in daily life. When a person learns that their efforts can produce positive changes, they begin to build resilience, paving the way toward improved mental health and a greater capacity for learning and problem solving. Final thoughts on stress and adaptive learning. Understanding the interplay between chronic stress and the ability to learn is crucial for anyone who wishes to improve personal or educational outcomes. When the body and mind are constantly exposed to high stress levels, a person's capacity to absorb new information and solve problems is compromised, and the tendency to feel overwhelmed can spiral into a deep-seated sense of powerlessness. By actively working to manage stress and counteract the effects of learned helplessness, individuals can regain control and foster an environment that promotes growth, well-being, and mental agility. Emphasizing supportive relationships, adaptive thinking, and practical stress management strategies ultimately leads to a more balanced, confident, and proactive approach to life's challenges. Thank you, and let's stay connected. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. If you found this video valuable, imagine what you'll learn next. Subscribe to Wisdom Forge and hit the bell icon so you never miss. White heavy checkmark, more thought-provoking content. White heavy checkmark, practical wisdom for everyday life. White heavy checkmark, the tools to unlock your full potential. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway or what topics you'd like to see next. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning.